Hi guys, this is Sheldon Carlos. On today's video, I'm going to give you my my review of episode 5 of season 2 of The Big Bang Theory. Cooper Cart, Cooper Cart, and Super Cooper Crush. Super Cooper Crash. So here we go, guys. I love this episode. It's episode 5 of season 2 of the Big Bang Theory. Here's the gist of it, guys. Okay, first of all, it involves Leonard and Sheldon, but mostly Sheldon. Okay, guys, Leonard has to work, or has a new schedule, planned for at least 2 weeks. He's asking time to use a proton laser at Caltech, but the only time that he has time to use the proton laser is in the morning. So that means that he works in the morning, and then he stops working he goes back home in the afternoon and go to sleep. But there's one problem with that regarding Sheldon. Sheldon can't drive. Sheldon won't drive. So what does Sheldon do? According to Sheldon, Leonard did not tell him about this new schedule for at least 2 weeks. So poor Leonard reminded him, I told you last week before I started working with the proton laser, and I said I'll be working with this proton laser for 2 weeks. For the next 2 weeks. But of course, Sheldon didn't really pay attention to that. And Leonard was tired, and Sheldon, of course, he can't drive himself to work. So Sheldon asked tired Sleeping Beauty Leonard, or Leonard's Sleeping Beauty, sleep drunk Leonard, to drive him. But of course Leonard said, "No, Sheldon, I have worked all morning today. All morning today. Why don't you take the bus? To work? But please don't tie yourself with bungee cords like last time." So Sheldon doesn't take the bus because he had a very bad experience, very funny but bad, also inefficient experience with using bungee cords on the bus. So who's the next best option besides Leonard? Well, you guys know her, Penny. Of course, Penny is upset with Sheldon because obviously Penny is not used to Sheldon, or for that matter, to waking up early like Sheldon and Leonard. So Sheldon asked Penny if if she could drive him to work, but plus besides driving him to work, along the path to work, Sheldon asked Penny if they could pass to return some Star Wars bed sheets. Star Wars bed sheets. Of course, Penny Penny reluctantly pops her agrees with that type of corn, meaning idea in this case, and they're on their way. They're on their way. But like in the the sixth episode of, or actually fourth episode of the first season of the Big Bang Theory, Sheldon pointed out to Penny that her check engine light was blinking, and all this time Penny hadn't done that. Penny hadn't taken her car to the mechanic. But along the path to work this time, Sheldon told Penny again, your check engine light is blinking away. And Penny's like, yay, great. Then of course, guys, Sheldon was like, okay, I see that you need some energy in your system, Penny. So what if we play a game, an element naming game? You name an element and I name an element. But in a funny tragic way, in a funny tragedy, Sheldon had to play by himself, and he had to pretend that Penny gave him an element to name by each of the alphabet, by the alphabet, like an element A, B, But then after, playing this game and answering for Penny, Penny had enough. Had enough with Sheldon. So what did she do? Stopped her car, and she left Sheldon stranded in the street. So even though we didn't see Sheldon walking all the way to work, he did walk. He did walk all the way to the university. Then a few hours later, fast forward a few hours later, Sheldon is ready to go home, and he sees Leonard with Howard, talking with Howard, and Sheldon assumes that Leonard is done with using the proton laser, but that's not the case. Leonard is waiting for his time slot. But in a funny twist of fate for Leonard, Howard joins Sheldon Seaman. Why won't you drive me, Leonard, back home? Eventually, Howard 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 basically has to drive, not drive with a car, but has to basically Vespa drive, Vespa drive Sheldon back home. But there's one problem. By car, by car. There's a street called Euclid Avenue. Euclid Avenue. That the guys, meaning Leonard, Raj, Howard, and Sheldon have to take. Usually driving. But since Howard got stuck with Sheldon thanks to Leonard, although Leonard's proton laser time slot working slot is very important in the episode. Again, Howard gained up on Leonard with Sheldon, and said to Leonard, I'm on Sheldon's side. Well. Then Leonard said to Sheldon, I can't take you. Howard can take you back home. So again, Howard got the bad end of the popsicle stick. So Howard doesn't have a car, but he has his Vespa, and Euclid Avenue is bumpy, but you can't really feel the bump that much in a car. You can feel the bump a little bit, but not as much in the car, but you can still get you can still, the car will hop. But in a Vespa like Howard's, you definitely feel it. So poor Howard is driving Sheldon on his Vespa, and Sheldon is death gripping Howard to the point that Howard can't see, to the point that Sheldon is basically covering Howard's eyes from seeing the road. And then Howard and Sheldon arrive at Euclid Avenue, and Sheldon says, "Oh, not Euclid Avenue," and then the bump happens, the hop bump, and by this point, Raj had been selected by Howard or by Leonard, or had been selected by Sheldon to drive him back home from work. And just like Penny and Howard, Sheldon drove basically poor Rod insane to the point that that the whole gang, meaning Penny, Rod, Howard, Leonard, and Leonard basically had a meeting between all of them, and not including Sheldon. And they all agreed that Sheldon needs to learn how to drive. But so 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 the gang agreed that Sheldon needs to go to the DMV and do a driver's test. But what they didn't expect is that Sheldon would basically um specifically and correctly answer answer the DM, the driver's test, the driver's test questions. But he was questioning the questions. Like, he was answering the questions in his own way, which were correct, but he was just questioning the way that the questions were worded in the test. And fun fact, or the special guest star in this fifth episode was Octavia Spencer from the Oscar nominated film The Help, and so many others, as the DMV tester giver, the person that gives you the test. Eventually, Sheldon did the same thing to Octavia Spencer's DMV tester giver, and basically Octavia's DMV character in the episode basically just go. You finish the test. But since the DMV did not work, and Sheldon was so hypercritical of the test itself, there was another option. Howard and his friend from the engineering department at the university, his friend at the university in the engineering department had developed a driving simulator. And of course, you could pick a car. You could pick your driver simulation car. And one of the options were a blue car that looked like the lightsaber, like the blue lightsaber color that you see in Star Wars, the Batmobile, or a Honda, I believe. So Sheldon obviously wanted the Batmobile, or the lightsaber blue type car. But of course, Penny and Leonard said no. Just pick the red one. Just pick the third option. And man, the graphics in this driving simulator were pretty accurate. Were pretty cool, and but just like, just like, just like, just like in the DNV, in the DNV, even though he didn't drive actually a car in the DNV. Uh, Sheldon, Sheldon failed that simulator, and he tried and he tried. But the funny thing is about this is that the graphics were so detailed, and so accurate that Sheldon drove his simulating car through a through a through a through a pet store, and crashed he crashed through and he drove himself he drove his car through the first floor of the mall of the simulating mall. But of course, Sheldon just didn't. Sheldon wanted the whole airbag experience, the whole airbag experience. So what did Penny do to simulate an airbag? Hit Sheldon with with a pillow, you know, the a pillow from the couch, from 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 the couch. At the end of the day, Sheldon basically gave up and said, uh, "I'm never going to drive." But I'm never going to drive. But please tell Wallowitz, meaning Howard, that this this simulator has very detailed graphics. So what did Leonard do? He said he basically lied to Sheldon and said that I'll be working for a month, and you will have to. So if you want to stay overnight here at the university, you can. So that way you don't have to. So that way you don't have to. So that way you don't have to go home, and then ride the bus. But it was all a lie because Leonard told Rod and Howard that he had finished his time slot for the usage of the proton laser at one of the labs was done. And with that guys, this is how this wonderful and simulating Mario Kart type nerdy episode of the Big Bang Theory ends. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Remember to leave a like, and until then, bye. And just before I go, guys, just to remind you, I might not be here tomorrow because I might be going home to Guatemala for a second time in the same year, which is pretty rare, to celebrate my grandpa's birthday from my dad's side. So I'll be back. If I do go, I'll be back on September 8th. So I won't be doing any videos. I won't be doing any videos on September 8th because I will need a break, a little bit of a break. I'll be doing my videos on September 10th or September 11th. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Remember to leave a like and let me know in the comments if you want to. What was your favorite part? What was your favorite part of this episode? And who's your favorite character to use in a Mario Kart game? In a Mario Kart game. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching. And may the nerd be with you. Bye.